Hi there. It's Tom Field. I'm Senior Vice President of Editorial with Information Security Media Group. Very pleased to be back with yet another Profiles in Cybersecurity Leadership. Today, I'm talking to Marco Túlio, Director of Information Security and Privacy with Red Ventures in Brazil. Marco, it's a pleasure to talk with you again.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure, Tom. I told to you before, many years ago when I was to a security conference in the US, I saw you interview some guys, some colleagues, and I realized that, I dreamed to be here, at that time was much more like me, but, I realized today that's some kind of retribute after, 20 years of experience. I need to give back and share what I learned so far. So I think that's the main point right now. So I hope that my ideas and lessons can inspire or help some other folks to prosper.
You've got unique experience to share, and I welcome it. Now, Marco, you told me in an earlier conversation that you came to Sao Paulo from the Amazon rainforest region. How different is your life and your work today?
Oh, it's totally different. I came from Belém, that's in the north of Brazil. I love here, São Paulo, and we choose to be here, my wife and I. And now we have a 3-year-old daughter. Our love here. But I really miss Belém and the culture, my family, my friends. But totally different. Here at São Paulo is the place that we would like to be, to study, to be an expert, to prosper. Is the center of the country on terms of economy and technology. And when I'm talking about information security, there's a lot of technology, a lot of good companies to go and thrive. So they have two different culture, like our two Brazil, but the idea it is to help what I've learned before in my hometown, and I think that's a big opportunity to be here, but it's a totally different life. I lived before with my parents, and now we married and have a daughter. Totally different opportunity in life right now.
Well, it's a technology capital. It's also a capital of cybersecurity threats. What do you see as the main challenges to cybersecurity to succeed in organizations today in this threat landscape?
Yeah, I think that the cybersecurity issue is a challenge of people, not a challenge of technology. Even though we were born working with technology, in the beginning of our career, and still do a lot of technology side of it. But I think that's much more a journey of learning, educating, promoting awareness and get aware of the business, of the culture of the company. And, we depend on people to help the company to prosper, to move on, So I think that the main challenge it is how to deal with people, how to be present and create, some bounds to be a good thing that is cybersecurity. How can we put that as a thing that's inherent to the business? So in order to do that, we need to also be open to understand their point of view, but to apply your point of view and help everyone together to build this from scratch. So technology is good. Sometimes not so easy, but majority of times it is easy to deploy some platform or tool or technology, whatever. But I think that's the real challenge is to get people on board and helping them to understand and put that on their lives, of their daily lives of the business, So that's my opinion.
I like that you mentioned people, because one of the things you said in the prior conversation to me is that talking with people is both most exciting for you, but also your biggest challenge. Why do you consider it both?
Yeah, it is exciting because you can bring different perspectives, right? That's why we talk about diversity. So it's a diversity of thoughts, of feelings, backgrounds, And when you create something, could be like a privacy or security program or any risk, or perhaps a business initiative, when you get people on board, it is something very exciting because you can create something together, and get and across the river, with something that is much more than you or your team or uh, whoever, and I think that the challenge, it is your actions. You should be very diligent and very careful, because your actions, your lessons, your example could inspire people, but also can bring them to some place that they wouldn't be there. So I remember, I was the people in charge of some security programs in the past, and I remember some examples of, try to help the company to prosper, but you need to be very diligent, because when you set some risk appetite, what you believe, but you need to create something that everyone believes. That's a common sense. But some people that are trying to understand what is cybersecurity from the beginning, sometimes they could be very scared about doing some things. And if you don't set the right tone of it, they can go to another direction, to the two extremes of the opposites. So I think that you should be very careful, and that's because it's the most challenging, to set the right tone of the discourse, of the communication.
Like, given your background, given your interests, how would you describe your role today?
Oh, I think my role and the role of the current CISO, it is to engage people. It is to transform the business, mainly in the digital economy, that we're saying that we are building new ways of do business, new way of doing technology. So help the company to understand those risks associated to the different operations and business that we have, but most of all, applying the knowledge that they can, do their own understanding, apply their own understanding of what is cybersecurity, how can they bring to the products, to their operations, to their business, to their partnerships that they have, and run alone without you. That's the main challenge that I think. So I believe that's much more about a trusted advisory position, a risk manager, and a business enabler, of course. So I think that's the role of CISO. And behind all that, we have all the process that we know about it, like secure operation centers, the risk assessments, and so forth.
Mark, I want to talk with you about some areas that you described to me as particularly of passion to you. First one, enabling people. How do you help people to succeed in their roles and ultimately to become leaders in their own right?
Oh, that's a great question. So, and I was fortunate to have, a lot of good leaders in my career, and I think that leadership is all about, transform people, to help them to thrive, and even though sometimes you need to push, I was just this week, recommending and giving a feedback to one of the best leaders that I got in my career, that unfortunately was in the end of like 20 years after I started, but and she did a great job, and I think that the main thing about leadership is to create something. I remember in the book of Ursula Le Guin, the left hand of what is left hand of what is the name? Well, I forgot the name. It's a science fiction book from Ursula Le Guin, like the left hand of darkness. She's explaining about the good novel, the good romance. It is when you pass through it and you are transformed. So I think that's the point of leadership, to help people to be transformed, even though sometimes you don't know how, what at what level we were transformed, right? So what I try to do, it is something like that, to put people on fire, sometimes to help them, to put them on the stage, to prepare them, to educate them, to be open to be educated by them, to learn from them. So I think it's a two-way journey that you have help people to be better at the end, and you will be better at the end. So I think that's the mindset that I try to apply to my career, to my leadership.
Marco, the other area you spoke about of passion is creative thinking. You told me that there are always more than two choices when you face an issue. Give me some examples of your own creative thinking, please.
Cool. Yeah. It's true. Sometimes we just put two sides of the coin. We have infinite possibilities, right? So I remember one of the experiences that I had was to lead a security program in a company that was the seventh person in the chair for the last 5 years. So I was the seventh CISO in the position, and was a big challenge. The culture was super hierarchical. We got not too much autonomy. We depend on too much information to take decisions, and I got some sponsorship to class this culture and apply the different way. So my former colleagues, they try to navigate in the same culture, the same way that they tried before and never happened. And what we did was to class this culture, giving autonomy to the team, empowering them to take decisions, applying the fail fast mindset to a company that was super, focused on process and punish mistakes, punish errors. So, we usually think, in that sense, we could be like, do the same or, try to change the status quo in a staggered fashion. No, let's do let's move on. Let's go faster. Let's apply everything we got here. So we need to think that sometimes, and the majority of times, we have a lot of possibilities, not only 0 or 1. So the quantum computing says about that, right? Have like a multiple possibilities to decide.
I like that. Marco, to this point, which career accomplishments give you the most pride?
Yeah, I am very, very happy to work at one of the main, cybersecurity projects in Brazil, in a time that we didn't talk about this concept of cybersecurity. It was just before, the Stuxnet, just after Stuxnet. So like talking about 2013, we got Stuxnet in 2010. Yes, 2009, 2010, So that was a big project, compassing not only technology, but engaging different, teams from operational technology, ICS and SCADA leadership, the people from IT, but also engaging the business and try to apply a lot of technology, of course, but a lot of process on reporting to the board, on creating a cyber attack plan, incident response plan, some process and policies and technology that were not used at that time. We're much more focused on deploying firewalls, anti-malware, the common stuff. But we got opportunity to go there, and we earned about like 4 to 5 awards and recognitions globally and locally to the company, to the team, and of course to me. So it was a big accomplishment to my career.
That's
I was very
good.
happy to be.
Marco, in terms of communication and collaboration, what's the value to you of a forum such as the CyberEdBoard, a global forum?
Yeah, it's huge. To have an opportunity to be present among many different leaders, and in a space that everyone can collaborate, can be, comfortable to collaborate with other colleagues, It is something that's very available. I remember the physiotherapy. It's some space that's super good to share and get thoughts, beyond the traditional place to understand and see how they're doing the hard skills. It's opportunity to understand the soft skills as well. So it's a good place to share information. Yeah.
Very good, Marco. I'm glad we finally got the chance to sit down and have this conversation. Thank you very much for being with me today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Again, you've just seen another of our profiles in cybersecurity leadership. I just spoke with Marco Túlio. He is the Director of Information Security and Privacy with Red Ventures in Brazil for Information Security Media Group. I'm Tom Field. Thank you very much for giving us your time and attention for this interview.